ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Today we are going to discuss on Japa Vidhi part 2. Let's move forward and beginning with it, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has spread this cult of chanting the holy name. He is Harinam Sankirtan Pravartak, and we must chant the pure name of the Lord, and we must have the desire. If we have the desire to chant only, we can get something, because if we are chanting the name of Krishna and we don't have a desire, then that will just be as it is. But if we have a desire that I want to chant and become better in chanting, so that the Lord can hear my chanting more and shower mercy on me more, then you have to have the desire for chanting, after which the Lord will give you some taste. So we must have that desire. The teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are written in the books of the Acharyas, and Sanatan Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami wrote Hari Bhakti Vilas on the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this Hari Bhakti Vilas describes the experience of Mahaprabhu and from a section of this Hari Bhakti Vilas we have started from the last session, Japa Vidhi part 1, discussing on how Japa should be done. So this is the second session of that thing, and the reason why we should follow all these rules and regulations is because even without following them we can get the mercy, but we are following them to reap the perfect benefit of chanting, so that the Lord can shower his complete mercy on us. And Radha Krishna are the presiding deities of the holy name, and while chanting we must meditate on them and the mantra. The two types of senses which are engaged in chanting are Karmendriya or working senses, and Jnanendriya, knowledge acquiring senses. So these senses are used in perfect japa. And as we discussed in the last session, when the mind and the mantra meet, only at that time Kirtaniya Sada, at that time the perfect japa happens. And when this japa happens, this japa should continue every time, and that japa is called Kirtaniya Sadahari, wherein we should basically try chanting in a way that mind should be in the mantra and the mantra should be in the mind. So now moving forward, chanting with impure hand, or chanting while naked, chanting with the face fully covered, chanting while talking, and these are the faults, some faults, and it makes japa fruitless. I mean, the fruit will come, but then it won't be perfect japa, it won't be a complete japa, that the ideal japa. No chanting while walking, dreaming, sleeping, and we should not remember some worldly thoughts while chanting. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions in Harinam Chintamani that these things have a wrong impression on our mind, and they have a wrong impression on our mind, and hence they must be removed. while we are chanting. So other faults are sneezing, yawning, hiccuping, absent-mindedness, grieving, etc. They are not allowed, and japa becomes fruitless because of even this, and there should be no perfection in japa happens. And also one should not talk to women while talking japa. While chanting japa, because women speak all unwanted things, and they talk unwantedly. And also we should not talk with the shudra, because the shudra is always lamenting while chanting. So we should not do this. We should not talk with these two kinds of people while chanting, and one should not chant at night also. In the Vyasa Smriti, putting hand on the head and chanting is not allowed. So one should not break the rule, one should not break the number of rounds of japa that he has set. The rule he should not break, otherwise japa becomes fruitless. So in the morning, when you come in front of the deity, you can render some service, and you can take achman and recite Keshavaya Nama, Narayana Nama, Madhavaya Nama, the three mantras, or the mantras for the all places of the body where we put tilak, and we can take some sankalpa and then sit and chant. That will be a better way to not break the number of rounds. And in the Vyasampayana Samhita, one cloth only or too much cloth is not allowed while chanting. And the best is dhoti plus chadar. So you wear the dhoti from at the bottom and chadar at the top. So one should not wear things like a turban and shirt, kurta, etc. while chanting. And the stitched clothes, they should not be worn while chanting, because the places where the stitches are there in the clothes, when we are washing them, the dirt tends to remain at the places where the stitches are made. Hence this cannot be used for the service of the Lord. So we should realize that we are serving the all great personality, the person who is fully independent, fully cognizant of everything. So we need to have some rules and regulations while serving that supreme absolute truth. Hence there should be no stitched clothes while chanting. And dirty hand, open hair and impurity and talking are not allowed while chanting. And hand must remain covered, head should be open, one should be free from anger and illusion, and there should be no thoughts which are worldly in the mind. So all the nonsense thoughts of nonsense things that are happening around outside, that shouldn't be coming while chanting. And only the Lord and yourself, it should be like a personal, it should be like mantra between the mind and the mind between the mantra, like that way. That is the best way. And one should not be hungry, and one should not think about food while chanting. So this is the reason why it is best to chant in the morning, because in the morning neither we think of food when we get up, because the mind is fresh, and we neither feel hungry. So laying down, standing, walking, staying in crematorium and places that has darkness and impurity, these things are not allowed while chanting. And one must not chant when the shoes are worn, and while traveling in a vehicle also one should not chant. And we should not lie on the bed and spread the legs around, and sitting in a wrong unauthorized asana which is not approved by our previous acharyas. All these things are also not allowed while chanting. Prabhupada says to sit properly while chanting. This means that he recommends us to sit in the asana that is recommended by the previous acharyas. And Yajnavargya Samhita states that laughing, talking in the open space, shaking legs, scratching hands, with an having an uncontrolled mind, and all these are also not allowed. Looking here and there, these are also not allowed while chanting. And one should not have a doubtful heart that I'm doing this japa, but is it actually, is the Lord being pleased, and is he hearing my japa? And all these doubts should not be there in the mind. One should be fully faithful that the Lord is listening to my japa, and he is ready to shower mercy on me once I improve. So one should just meditate again the same way, the most simple way, mantra in the mind and the mind in the mantra, or else you can meditate upon the nama rupa guna leela of the Supreme Lord. And lips and tongue should not be moved while chanting, and no shaking of hand, neck, and exposing of feet and teeth are allowed. It may happen that while staying in meditation and closing eyes, at that time we may feel some sort of dizziness and something like that. So just like a cobra moves its head, the snake or cobra, we can slightly move our head here and there a little bit, just so that we don't fall asleep, and we just get out of that dizziness so that we can focus again. And demigods like yakshas and vidyadharas, they are moving around. We may not see them with our eyes, but because we are unqualified and we have imperfect senses, that is one defect of conditioned souls, and hence we cannot see the demigods who are around us. But they are roaming around, and hence we must chant secretly. And banyan tree, the shadow of banyan tree should not be crossed while chanting. And giving and taking, like for example, while chanting I am taking something from someone, or I am giving something to a person while chanting, or I am giving something to a person who is chanting himself, like that, those things should not be there. One should now how to atone for some of the mistakes that are committed. This thing we will be discussing. Till now we were discussing all the faults while chanting, and now we have come to the point where what to do, like how to atone for the mistakes. So one should take Achmana after seeing a dog eater or a fallen person, because again we are serving the Almighty Absolute Truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is fully independent, fully cognizant. So we need to maintain some cleanliness and follow some rules. So if you talk to such a fallen person like a dog eater or something or whatever, so we should take bath. And if you see stool or urine, if you see also, then take bath and chant. If at all any fault is taking place while chanting, so one should just remember Lord Vishnu, and one should say the mantra Om Apavitro Pavitro Va Sarvavastan Gatopiva Yasmaret Pundarikaksham Sabhai Abhyantaraha Shuchihi. So and then one can take Achmana and continue chanting. If at all any fault is there, one can remember the Lord and the devotees of the Lord. If one sees a fallen person or hears him, or something like that, so one should stop chanting immediately, because the effect remains on us. So we won't be able to chant properly by focusing mind in the mantra and mantra in the mind. So if you want to sneeze, pass air or pass urine, suspend the japa, stop the japa, and we must look at the sun, because the sun is considered to be very auspicious and he can purify us. Then perform achmana, then sit and chant japa again. So after japa, what happens is that we have been chanting for a long length of time. So after chanting japa, when the mind, when we finish our rounds and put the mala aside, at that time the mind has the tendency to do so many things, and like the japa is over, and it wants to go to so many other places and do so many other things. So after doing japa, hence this is one way we can do pranayama, and we can look at the sun again, so that the sun can purify us, and our mind does not run away. If you see any animal while chanting, one must take achmana and continue chanting. If you touch the animal, then you take bath and chant again, because again the Supreme Lord is the person whom we are meditating upon. So these rules must be followed. And in Narada Pancharatra, talking is not allowed while chanting. So if some word by mistakenly is said, by mistake, if it is uttered, then one can just chant Om, and take achmana and do pranayam, then continue chanting. And if one sneezes while chanting, or he touches some wrong items, abominable items, then he should take achmana and continue chanting, purify the hand. And when one drops his so if the string of the mala becomes frail while chanting, then chant 100 times. And if it becomes frail at another point of time when we are not chanting, then replace it. So if the mala comes in contact with wrong things, wash it and chant one extra round on the mala. And if one drops the mala, like while chanting, it may happen that inside the bead bag we may lose the track of the mala, and the mala may drop inside. So then one should finish that round, and then one should chant 100 mantras separately. That's what is given there. Count the 100 malas, 100 mantras, and chant them separately 100 times, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So when one drops the mala or mantra, this thing can be done, that chant 100 mantras separately. So today we have discussed the many faults while chanting, as to what should not be done, and after that we started discussing some ways of atonement if we have committed some mistakes. So this is the end of second part of Japa Vidhi, and we must follow all of these ways, or follow all of these things, so that we get perfect Japa. So one thing here in this connection is Nama plus Nama Aparada. Holy name plus offenses against it leads to bhukti or enjoyment. And Nama plus Aparada Shunya, holy name plus lessening of offenses, or else offenses becoming completely zero, that is called liberation, equals liberation. And Shuddha Nam, which means perfect chanting, ideal Japa, that leads to Krishna Prema. Hence, if we need this thing, then we Krishna Prema, then we all must endeavor to chant perfect Japa. So this is the end of Japa Vidhi part 2. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.